Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. Now, in today's video, we are going to look at the tank that I struggled with the most. And there's a reason why I struggled with it. Well, there's not a reason. There's no reason. I'm trying to think of a reason that I struggled, but I just can't think of one. So what I'm talking about, of course, is the STB1. Now, those of you that are not aware, one of my all-time goals for the game was to master every single tank in the game. Now, at one point, I managed to succeed that. I managed to do it. I managed to ace every single tank that I owned. And I managed to ace every single tank pretty much in the entire game. Now, over the last sort of 2 years ago, I have been falling a bit behind. I haven't been spending money on the game, so there's premium tanks that I have not been able to get. But, you know, I managed to get 100% ace mastery. So if you can see it, if you look on sort of the right side, I am falling quite a bit behind. 527 tanks mastered out of 588 tanks owned. Now, before, that was like 400 out of 400. So I literally had mastered every single tank that I'd ever played. Now, doing so was a ball ache. It really was a struggle. Some tanks I would master first time, and some tanks, of course, I would. So if we just go over here, go to the battles, there's still quite a few tanks that I haven't played, but there's some that I've had sort of one game, not these ones, as you can see here, not these ones. These are sort of the newer kind of ones. Yeah, as you can see, yeah, I'm really struggling with these, but yeah, so you can see, basically you could see that that was my aim. My only goal of the game was to master every single tank in the game. Obviously, yeah, over time I've like, yeah, that's kind of gone, I'm past that now. I know it's not going to happen because there are a lot of premium tanks that I haven't got, and there's probably a lot of premium tanks that I had that I didn't master and I probably sold. So it's not really a long time goal for me now, but at least I can say at the time I succeeded in my goal. But the biggest headache out of all those tanks, out of the whole 500 plus tanks that I have a mastery badge in, this tank here gave me the biggest headache. So some tanks I would master in just one game, some tanks will take me a couple of games, and of course some tanks will be a little bit more. But this tank right here was just a little bitch to me. It really, really was a little bitch, and to the point that I was just jinxed with this tank, and I was even sort of in my clan thinking, do you know what, I think it's the tank, it's just bad luck. So what I'm going to do, and I did honestly do that, is sold the tank. Yes, I know it is a tech tree tank, but I sold the tank to rebuy it, to hopefully reset my my luck in the tank. I run different camos, I tried my luck with everything, and I just could not do it. It took me freaking ages, to the point where I was getting 5,000, 6,000 damage games, and it was only a first class. And I was like, honestly, are you having me on? 6,000 plus game. I think one game was about 6,500, which somewhere I've got on the channel, and it was only a first freaking class. So yeah, it was getting very frustrating. And then before you know it, the day that I aced this tank was probably like the best day of my life. It was better than my wedding. It was probably better than my kids being born. Honestly, it was the best day on in my life, and I was so happy. Of course it wasn't, I'm just joking, but just the relief, like you've been trying something for months and months and months and months, and then finally that golden M come out, and you're just like, whew. and the way I did it was like 3k damage. It wasn't even anything special, and that was the frustrating part, but I did not care. In total, it was around 600 battles. Yes, almost, it was around 600 battles it took me to master this tank. That is a lot of games. That is a lot of games, and there is not a single tier 10 out there that would take me longer in mastering than this tank right here. Obviously now I'm not as good as I used to be, and I make silly mistakes. I'm getting old, you know, I've got less reaction time. It happens, you know, it's life, and it will probably take me a long time to ace certain tanks. But back then, if there was a tier 10 new in the game, I would probably ace it the first day. And I wouldn't give up until I have aced it. I would start playing Supremacy. I would start doing things that you wouldn't normally do, like being very risky in trying to get the spots, in getting the Supremacy points. You know, and the damage, the kills, everything. It's not just about damage to get a mastery badge. They take into account a lot of things. Like I said, you can go around collecting all the bases and only get 2k damage in a tier 10 and still get a mastery badge. If you're the only one to cap bases, then you're getting more points than you would normally get. So yeah, over 600 battles to ace one single tank, and of course it is the STB. Now the tank itself is absolutely brilliant. When played correctly, the tank is fantastic. It's got one of the best turrets for a medium in the game. It's got very nice DPM for what it is, and it's just a beautiful, overall beautiful tank. It really is. The STB is kind of overlooked from some of the other mediums out there, you know, the Russians, the E50M that is very popular, where the STB is sort of, it's always been popular, but it's always sort of fell behind certain other tanks. But when played correctly, honestly, this has the opportunity to be one of the better mediums in the game. If you can get yourself on a ridgeline with this tank, then yeah, you can be absolutely brutal. Use your gun depression, just like our guy is doing here. Get on a ridgeline, and then you could just go back a bit, and you'll bounce most things that comes in front of you. Like, honestly, you'll bounce just about everything. People will struggle to penetrate you if you are in a hold down position. If you're on a ridge using that gun depression, tanks, almost any tank, will struggle to be able to penetrate that turret. So it's definitely worth the grind. As I said, it is a fantastic medium tank that kind of gets overshadowed by other medium tanks. But yeah, you definitely need to go play it. As long as you play it to its advantages, and again, that is all about, it's a ridgeline tank. It definitely is a ridgeline tank, and you have to play it like a ridgeline tank. So this game so far, 4,600 damage. It's a 2 versus 4. The KPZ is a one-shot. He then gets killed, so it is a 1 versus 4. Now, albeit there are a couple of tanks that are very low hit points, but this E100 isn't. And as you can see there, yes, he wasn't really on a ridge, but he was down a sort of dike, so it was very difficult to penetrate. Now, if you are on a flat surface, then yeah, it's not too difficult to be able to penetrate the STB. But yeah, it's definitely a bully tank. You can bully any tank. Doesn't matter what tank it is, you can bully almost anything that comes in front of you. So as you can see, the E100 one side, the T95 the other side. He's going to do the right thing, ignore the T95 and go for the E100 to now bring it down to a 1 versus 1. And if he can get behind this T95, then it is going to be game over. The T95 isn't in the best of positions, and he just needs to use this opportunity to get behind this tank. And as soon as he does that, he's on 1,600 hit points, and that will become free damage. He's currently at 6.8k damage, and he just needs to get him in the certain position. He's still got plenty of time, so there's no need to start making mistakes, because if the T95 high rolls, then he's dead. He should be able to take at least one shot from this guy, but I can see that he's trying to bait this guy. He's in the perfect position to be baited. Now, unfortunately, he does get penetrated but that is his opportunity. That's his time to rush around and just look. But the T95 just cannot do anything in the position that he's currently in. So he does waste a few shots in going, of course, for the track to keep him there. And yeah, it must be very, very annoying for the T95. There's another track, and he just must be wanting to chuck his device out the window. He does need to be careful, however, because one more little nudge and it will be game over. But he does manage to complete the job. 8,400 damage, and that was my STB story. It was a headache, and yeah, it was very, very frustrating, and I really, really struggled with this tank. Not so much playing it, I just struggled to freaking ace it. Let me know if there's any tanks out there, any bogey tanks out there for you that you just cannot ace. No matter what you do, you just can't get that golden M. Let me know in the comments below. But for now, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.